Roast beef or fish and pork and pig is not my dish. Go ahead and let your chickens free. Chicken orders for Purdue wants to keep those chickens to you. I don't take orders from Colonel Sanders to you. And I don't want to eat no hands, not even every now and then. I just want to let all the little chickens be.
Hey freaks, welcome to Vegan Freak Radio. Podcasting without pants from home. Here's Bob and Jenna.
Hello out there, vegan freaks, and welcome to another edition of Vegan Freak Radio. I'm Snotty Bob.
I'm Jenna.
And man, I'm still just getting over this cold, so if you hear me kind of sniffling and snotting around, I apologize for that. So man, we got another full show coming at you this week.
Yeah, it probably won't be an hour and a half long again, but it'll be pretty chock full of things.
I don't know, man. I think we might be approaching it.
All right.
We got a whole kinds of things. We got a shout outs coming, and then we're going to talk a little bit about Thanksgiving. This is going to be an emerging theme on our show this week. And by the way, speaking of emerging themes, did you catch that new opening theme?
Oh, that's right.
What did you think? Yeah. Speaking of it, that's from Chad at Food Fight, who recommended that. And I thought it'd make a really nice new opening theme for us.
Chicken squawk.
Chicken squawk. So poultry and fowl are going to be our theme over the next several weeks. So we got a Thanksgiving. We're going to talk about Thanksgiving this week. And the next week, we've got an interview with Karen Davis coming up. And it took the entire show. We did the interview this morning. And wow, Karen has some amazing things to say. And we really hope you'll tune in for that.
Yeah, you have to listen because she's really just gets right at why poultry, raising poultry for food is just horrible.
Absolutely.
So after we talk about, since that's going to be our entire show next week, this week we're going to talk about Thanksgiving and coping strategies. And then we're going to talk about a little bit about the PCRM, the Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine, since that sort of sparked a little bit of debate on our forums.
A little bit of debate?
Okay, a lot of debate.
Okay. And what else are we going to do this week? We are going to talk, we're going to play, we have two musical interludes this week for you. The first one is from MDC. We're going to play the full version of what we just played for you in the opening. And then we're going to talk about how people don't always see the big picture and how it is very important to see the big picture. And after that, we're going to do our review of Earthlings, the DVD Earthlings, which is an incredible film, but also kind of painful to watch.
Exactly why I couldn't watch it. So, and then we have a couple of voicemails this week, some really great voicemails this week. Just wait till you listen. I can't wait.
Oh, we have incredible voicemails. I'm completely stoked. They're awesome.
Yeah. And then we have our second musical interlude because we don't have time for music next week. So we get two songs this week. And this one's from a listener, Drew.
Yep. And Drew sent us a bunch of music just like Chad. And man, Drew, thank you so much. That's awesome. And then we're going to play for you a clip from the Verato live show that we were on. And I think personally, to me, it was the most entertaining clip of the show. We're going to play that and discuss that very briefly. And then we've got our If You're Not Yet Vegan segment. What are we going to talk about there, Jenna?
Chickens.
Chickens yet
and
again.
And eggs, of course.
Yep, chickens and eggs yet again. And then what do we have?
Emails.
Emails. Did I miss the emails?
Yeah.
Oh, stupid me.
It's all right.
They're in there somewhere.
Yep, we got a couple of emails. Nice people. It's nice of people to write to us, and we're going to respond to some of those.
Absolutely. And then we've got a little bit of audio from Kat.
From the UK.
Kat from the UK, from a show that she is completely raving about on our forum. She loves this show.
Yes.
So, and we didn't, I mean, I feel like a stupid American because I didn't understand it right away, but hopefully, you'll get it. The UK listeners will get it.
Yeah. Excellent. So, first, I guess we have our shout-outs.
Yeah, we do. So, our first, as usual, our shout-outs in the beginning here are to our donators, our very generous donators. We want to thank Tolmy and Scott Runkle, who were kind enough to donate some cash to us. We really appreciate that through PayPal.
Yeah, and Christina Erasmo, hope I'm saying that right, also donated. So thank you very much, Christina.
And then just a regular old shout out to Under the Pavement, which is an anarchist political radio show. Has 3 vegan hosts. It's in Manchester. And you can find them on the web at underthepavement.org. We listened to their World Vegan Day show yesterday, and it kicked ass. Some amazing music.
Yeah, and so you can get that version on a podcast. You can download it. It's 2 hours long. It's a great mix of music and talk, and they have cake and beer and food, which we were very jealous of.
All kinds of beer and cake. I mean, how could you do any better than beer and cake?
Yeah, right.
Beer and cake is the best.
And you can also listen live if you're managed to be at the right time. From Manchester, they stream live on the radio. So
there you go. And they do a podcast too, correct?
Yeah,
that's how we got
it. Yeah.
Yeah. So big shout out to them. And on our forums, David from Under the Pavement, who also sent us an email, listed all this great vegan music that was on the show.
Yeah, he put the entire playlist. It's under the podcast section of the forums. So thank you so much for taking the time to do that, because you played a lot of great songs.
Absolutely. It was amazing. So what else we got going on here? Is that all our shout outs?
We also need to say hi to Zita.
Oh, yeah.
Zita wrote us a really nice email. She just decided to go vegan after being vegetarian for, I think it was about 5 years. She said she was vegetarian since she was 15. She's now 20.
Right.
And she's originally from Latvia and now living in New York. So
yeah. So Zita, thank you very much. And she said that our podcast is something she enjoys listening to.
Yeah, so thanks. Excellent. And I think that's it.
That's it?
I think so.
All right. Kick ass.
Cool.
So what are we going to do now? We're going to talk about Thanksgiving?
Yeah.
I want to begin with a prayer. You know, I'm a very religious and holy kind of guy. I go to church every Sunday.
Yeah, right.
I can't even say it with a straight face.
Church of Bob.
The church, which involves sitting at the kitchen table, reading books, and drinking a lot of coffee.
Yeah.
I don't go to church. Not there's anything wrong with people that do go to church. More power to them. But what I want to do is read to you a poem that I like to read this time of year, every year. And it is called The Thanksgiving Prayer. It's by William S. Burroughs. And I think it's fitting to begin some talk of Thanksgiving with this. Mm-hmm. And apologies to our international folks. You know, I know that many of you don't have Thanksgiving. And that's because you didn't have indigenous people to destroy and despoil. But we do. And apologies to Canada. I know your Thanksgiving's in October. But hopefully a lot of stuff we're talking about can apply to broad holidays. But still, we got to give you the Thanksgiving prayer. It's very good. Thanks for the wild turkey and the passenger pigeons destined to be shit out through wholesome American guts. Thanks for a continent to despoil and prison. Thanks for Indians to provide a modicum of challenge and danger. Thanks for vast herds of bison to kill and skin, leaving the carcasses to rot. Thanks for bounties on wolves and coyotes. Thanks for the American dream, to vulgarize and to falsify until the bare lies shine through. Thanks for the KKK, for nigger-killing lawmen feeling their notches, for decent church-going women with their mean, pinched, bitter, evil faces. Thanks for Kill a Queer for Christ stickers. Thanks for laboratory aids. Thanks for prohibition and the war against drugs. Thanks for a country where nobody's allowed to mind their own business. Thanks for a nation of finks. Yes, thanks for all the memories. All right, let's see your arms. You always wear a headache, and you always wear a bore. Thanks for the last and greatest betrayal of the last and greatest of human dreams. And that's by William S. Burroughs.
That's excellent. We had that hanging on our refrigerator for a while, way back when.
Yeah, that's a quite fitting poem for this time of year, actually.
Definitely.
I mean, one of the things I think we tend to forget about when we have Thanksgiving every year is that, this is a holiday that is built upon essentially the decimation of indigenous population in this country. It's like celebrating the Holocaust. It's completely fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, and I think the basic premise, the story of the Pilgrims and the Indians was that the Pilgrims came over and couldn't figure out how to feed themselves, so the Indians showed them how, and what do we do in favor? We give them smallpox and we decimate their populations.
Yes, how lovely.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, with that kind of happy intro to the holiday itself, man, how can you walk away from that, right? We do want to talk about Thanksgiving and trying to get along with family, and I think a lot of the stuff is applicable to any holiday in general. Yeah,
sure, Christmas and all that. So actually, one of the things I liked on Under the Pavement, this guy was reading this poem about Christmas, the Christmas turkey.
The Christmas turkey.
So it really applies here too, I think. So any big holiday with a dead thing in the middle of the table.
Yeah, and that's the thing about Thanksgiving is that, before you become vegan, even when I was vegetarian, it didn't bother me that much to see a dead turkey in the table.
No, me either. I could handle it.
Yeah,
whatever.
I had no real problems with it.
No.
But now it really bothers me a lot, and it's like this shift in consciousness you get from going to seeing. It doesn't occur to you, and then suddenly it's like someone's death on the table. So how do you deal with that? Jenna, you got some ideas.
Yeah, well, one thing is that since we're talking about the carcass being on the table, because a lot of people just have to go to Thanksgiving with their families, they can't avoid it. So basically, we had a discussion about this on our forums, and how to avoid sitting next to the carcass. Try and sit obviously at the other end of the table, and some people suggest sitting at the kiddie table.
Sit at the kiddie table. I mean, why not, right? Go to the kiddies.
Yeah, because they're not going to put a whole bunch of food in front of you there. So that's one possible way. Another is just to maybe just not think about it as much. Just try and, I think, just try and think of, why you're not eating it, and remember that, and just be thankful that you're with your friends and family.
Yeah, you can try to focus on that rather than on the funeral.
Yeah, exactly.
I think another thing is it's really important not to look miserable while you're there, because I think that sends a message that, look, I'm a miserable vegetarian and I can't partake in holidays.
Yeah, and I'm depriving myself of this great fun that everybody else is having eating a dead bird. So, I think that's really important. It's sometimes hard to do depending on your family dynamics. But I think it's really important to show that you're eating and that you're happy and that you do have things to be thankful for.
Yeah, that's the thing, is that families are either more or less oppressive, and it's very difficult to find, if you're in a family that's fairly traditional, it's difficult to find your way in that situation,
Definitely.
Another thing you can do is that if you're dining with your family and they're relatively cool, they may not be at the point where they're making you vegan casseroles or things of that nature, but maybe you could just ask whoever's cooking to set aside some potatoes for you so you can make your own vegan mashed potatoes.
Yeah, or suggest that rather than, putting butter on all the vegetables, which you would be able to eat otherwise, just either put margarine on or leave the butter off and pass around the butter at the table. People can add if they want. Just simple things like that, so you can eat a lot of the side dishes, because a lot of the side dishes tend to be vegan.
Absolutely. I think another thing that people need to keep in mind is that the Thanksgiving table is not the place to have the animal rights fight.
Right. Your family is not going to be receptive to that.
No. You may see, like I keep saying, I see kind of a funeral at that table, You may see a funeral at that table, but that's not the place to have the discussion about the funeral. That's not the place to point out animal rights. It's not the place to talk about any of that stuff, because I think it's just going to end up being very contentious.
Yeah. Dog's farting again.
But
sorry.
We had yeah. Holy fucking hell.
Because he's sleeping and he doesn't smell it.
But it smells like a sewer main broke in here. Jesus. We had several days. I wish, for your sake, you should be happy we don't have smell-o-vision.
Yeah.
It's really horrible. And he's been fine. I think he only farts when we're doing the podcast.
I think he does, because the rest of the week, maybe we're just not around him that much.
We're around him all the time.
In terms of, we have to close the door and keep him down here so we can keep tabs on him, but...
You mean like this close?
Yeah, maybe he's usually just wandering around the house and we're not right next to him constantly.
But every night when we sit on the couch, he lays on you and I don't know, it's just horrible. He's been fine lately, and then all of a sudden he starts busting ass again. We're dying here.
Right.
So, but anyway, about Thanksgiving, is there more there?
Yeah. Another thing to do is to offer to bring something, make your own food. And even if they say no, bring it anyway. That way you're guaranteed to have something to eat. And to show the people that, you're not going to starve.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's
and a lot of people, we say this a lot of times, but people just can't conceive of how to eat as a vegan. So if you show them kinds of things you can eat, then, you can show them that you eat not just healthy, but you have a lot of variety and you have a lot of great tasting food.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Another thing you can do is pick up a good cookbook. Karen Davis, who we talked about earlier, she has a cookbook out called Instead of Chicken, Instead of Turkey, A Poultryless Poultry Potpourri. Man, all those P's.
That's a tongue twister.
Yeah, and I'm afraid it's going to make our podcast sound like but whatever. So that book is $14.95, and she says, the description says, this delightful book by United Poultry Concerns Incorporated features home-style, ethnic, and exotic recipes that duplicate and convert a variety of poultry and egg dishes, includes artwork, poems, and illuminating passages showing chickens and turkeys in an appreciative light. And that's what we need a little more of, man. This time of year, definitely the turkeys. And we've got holidays coming up. Millions of turkeys are going to be killed. Millions of chickens are going to be killed for all this. Billions, maybe. It's just completely ridiculous.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
But if you're lucky enough to have vegan Thanksgiving for yourself, for your family, for your friends, there's a lot of great things you can cook. You don't just have to get the tofurkey, because I know I think it's pretty split. Like, either you love tofurkey or hate tofurkey.
I'm mediocre on tofurkey.
Yeah,
I could do without it.
But you can make a tofu turkey kind of thing. We made this tofu you bake and you marinate it, and it came out and tasted really good, and have that with some mashed potatoes. You can make different kind of seitan roasts, so you don't have to make a tofurkey. You don't even have to have that central dish. You can just make a ton of side dishes, because I know that was always my favorite part of Thanksgiving, all the side dishes. You can make mashed potatoes with oil and vegetable stock. You don't even have to use soy milk or margarine or anything.
Yeah, we're having a vegan Thanksgiving here. We're going to have the smoking vegan or the vulgar vegan, or whatever you want to call him. He's coming over for Thanksgiving. So the three of us and the dog are going to hang out and have a kick-ass vegan Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I can't wait.
If you're anywhere near northern New York and you want to come, we'll have you.
Yeah, welcome to come. I'm going to make my famous apple cider pie.
That pie does kick ass.
So, yeah, I don't know.
That's it? I don't know.
No, but I think we're one of the lucky ones, though, because we managed to somehow get out of family Thanksgiving, probably because it's too far to drive.
Yeah, it's like a good 8-hour drive, and it's not a lot of time. I mean, the other thing is that this is the time of year, I think, if you're a borderline vegan or a new vegan, this is the time of year you're going to feel the most kind of like an outcast, I think.
Yeah.
This coming month and a half or so. You know?
Yeah, you're going to feel the pressure.
You're going to feel quite a lot of pressure to conform in a variety of ways, and I think it's important to hold your ground, to stand your ground.
Definitely. To remember why it is that you are vegetarian or vegan.
To, splash some blood on your family and call them fucking murderers.
You could do that too. You won't be invited back next year.
I'm just kidding. I don't think that's a wise move at all.
No.
Well, it could be. Murderers. Murderers. Get them.
Yeah.
I don't know. So, anything, I don't know. I have no idea. I'm a little freaked out. We have some new equipment here.
Yeah, we have new mics.
So the new mics are you can probably, rather than us, in the past we've had to share a mic, and because of some of the donations, we've actually been able to hook us up with 2 different mics, and I think it'll help the sound quality some.
Yeah, it's just a little freaky because they look very professional, and I'm a little freaked out by it all. We need a radio studio is what we need.
We do need a studio. That'd be great if we had a studio.
We'll just go commandeer the local NPR stations.
Yeah, they'd fucking hate us.
I know.
They're such whiners.
Yeah.
They would really fucking hate us.
Yes, they would. No, we need to be on satellite.
I would love to be on satellite radio. Yeah. Wouldn't that be cool? Have an hour a week on satellite radio? Then we'd have to have commercials.
Yeah, that would suck.
Probably.
Yeah.
Don't you think?
Probably.
I mean, I wouldn't mind having commercials for like Vegan-A's or things like
right.
that. Or Veggie-A's or whatever, however you say it.
Who knows?
I would have commercials for vegan products. I don't have too huge a problem with that.
No.
But anyway, we're not going in that direction, so don't worry. Don't worry. I tend to feel like, we need to keep commercialism out of things if we can.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so moving on. What now? The PCRM debate, huh? There was a kind of a long thread on our forums in the last couple of days where one of our listeners, he goes by Simple Hiker. I think he has a blog as well. I know he has a blog where he writes about kind of transitional and vegetarian issues. He asked us to stop referencing the PCRM.
Yeah, because a lot of at least in the past couple of shows, a lot of the nutritional blurbs that I brought up came from the PCRM, and the information about using rats in research for cancer came from the PCRM. And I think it all just started because somebody mentioned about cheese being addictive, and they've studied that. So I think that's where it all started. They have a lot of nutritional information on their site. Yeah,
they do have quite a lot. And I think the argument is that the PCRM is kind of, I don't want to steal someone's argument, but the PCRM is apparently too biased a source in order to provide what could be considered compelling argumentation in the direction of veganism. And the PCRM has, of course, linkages to various kinds of animal rights and animal welfare issues and things like that. And they've got links to PETA, they've got links to the Shack 7, they've got links to the ALF, or they've spoken in support of the ALF. And to me, this is great. I'm like, these are my kind of people. Yeah, and it's about time PETA's doing something good with their money. Give it to people that like the PCRM. The PCRM does good work. They promote vegan lifestyle. They promote vegan diet, and they are against vivisection. And the other thing is that the PCRM does do research, but many of the things that we've used when we cite them on the show are issue papers that they've written that are backed up with any number of peer-reviewed journal articles that have been in, really good journals. So right, so they publish their own works in peer-reviewed journals, and all the nutritional information that I read on the past couple of shows has numerous citations from things like the Journal of the American Medical Association and other prominent medical journals where this information has been published. Absolutely. So it kind of got into a little bit of a flamey discussion. I don't know. It felt really kind of rough to me. Yeah, it did. I don't know. I kind of regret being I was a little mean. Well, I kind of felt attacked. Did you? Yeah, I did. Well, I don't know. Anyway, we'll put up a link to the thread and you can go and take a peek at it. And I don't know. I just for the record, I don't really have any problem with PCRM. And of course, someone in that thread posted the link to a page about the PCRM at a site called Activist Cash. Now, Activist Cash is run by the Center for Consumer Freedom, which is run by this guy who essentially, well, it's run by a lobbying firm for the tobacco and fast food industries by and large. It's called Berman Associates. So they run the Center for Consumer Freedom, which calls vegans and animal rights activists terrorists and food police and all that kind of stuff. They're afraid we're going to take away their bacon wrapped cheeseburgers and all that bullshit. So how much do I take to heart what Activist Cash is saying about PCRM? I don't, because I think it's bullshit.
Yeah, I mean, they're obviously biased. And the whole question of bias came up in that whole thread, too, like about how PCRM is biased. Well, of course they're biased. I mean, everything is biased. Being social scientists, both of us, we, teach students, you can't escape your own bias. Your perceptions of the world are built on your experiences and your place within the culture and society, and you can't escape that. What you can do is recognize it. Mm-hmm. So any group is going to come from a position where, they're looking to do certain things. Does this mean that it's, not credible, what PCRM is doing? No. It just means that they have a certain goal. Sure. Now, are they doing it because they want profit? No. Is the Center for Consumer Freedom doing it because they want profit for their group and all the studies for the poultry industry? Yeah, they want their profit. And that's why that's why they tell us that milk is good for your body and all that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. So, I mean...
Oh, yeah, and you should go to the Center for Consumer Freedom. I mean, there's no reason not to go look at their site. It's an interesting array of the kinds of arguments that are brought to bear against people who are in support of animal rights and animal liberation. And you'll see the familiar litany of things, that we're terrorists, that we hate freedom, that, I don't know, there are 8 million different things, that we want small children to die because we're opposed to animal research, that we firebomb facilities. You go take a peek at their site. It's really fucking ridiculous. I mean, there's really no other way to put it.
Yeah, it makes me too angry to even read about it. I mean, I have you tell me about it, and that's enough, so... Yeah,
so it's definitely a frustrating site. But anyway, I personally don't feel like there's any real problem with the PCRM. I mean, I think it's really clear where they're at, where they stand. And I think you can look at a lot of what they argue and trace it back to literature. And I feel like because you can trace it back to valid, peer-reviewed literature that's in some of the top medical and epidemiological journals, I have no problem reproducing what they tell us on the show. No,
and it's the same information that you can find in other nutritional studies. Like people like T. Colin Campbell come to the same conclusions that they do, and people like Carrie Saunders and Dr. Greger, they all have, come to the same conclusions about the vegan diet and why it is good for you and why the standard American diet is bad for you.
I think part of the problem is that people have this sense that, they don't want to be linked up with people that are called terrorists and things like that. Don't want to be in the exact same categorization. And I don't know. I don't have any problem being categorized with animal liberation activists. I'm fine with that.
Yeah, and like we've said before, I mean, any movement needs to have different areas in it. And, so we have the PCRM on this side doing great things, and so they get money from PETA. So what? PETA's doing, so we definitely do not agree with everything that PETA does, but a lot of things they do well.
They do a lot of things well. I mean, PETA has its strengths. I think many of the different movements out there have the different organizations within the movement have their strengths, and I think those strengths need to be recognized and dealt with. So I have no problem with the PCRM. Do you?
No.
Well, then good. We agree.
All right.
It's good that we agree.
Of course.
Holy hell.
This show seemed to be like real serious.
Today's show?
Yeah.
We do seem serious.
Why is that?
I don't know, man.
I don't know. Maybe that was just the whole discussion with Karen Davis maybe brought us down or something?
Yeah, we talked to Karen Davis this morning for about 70... Well, we talked to her for 74 minutes and 30 seconds because that's where the mini disc cut out. So we got an hour and 14 minutes with Karen Davis this morning, and it was heavy. It was really heavy.
Yeah.
And as a result, I feel like maybe we're a little heavy today.
I don't know, maybe.
I don't know. So, I don't know. We could be jokey and fun.
Okay.
So what are we going to be joking and fun about? We already talked about the dog farting. That's not very serious.
That's true.
I think in the
he's being quiet.
Shh.
I know.
The first rule of good dog is don't talk about good dog.
Yeah. Well, I can gripe about this ad that I just saw. We just got the mail today, and I picked up the New Yorker, and on the front cover is a sick chicken. He's got the bird flu, and he's got a thermometer in his mouth and an ice pack on his head. Poor bird. And on the back, I flipped it over, and there's this woman standing. Okay, there's this woman model, obviously, standing in a field with a pitchfork, wearing a full-length fur coat. Mm-hmm. And do you know what the ad is for? Vodka.
You know, someone keeps writing to us and asking us if vodka is vegan.
It is. Most of it.
There you go.
I think some of it might be bone chard filtered, but
yeah.
I don't think it's a lot of it.
This ad is definitely not vegan.
No, it's for Chopin vodka. So now you know.
Like Cartman.
Yeah, Chopin, not a good. It's from what I understand, really fucking expensive anyway.
Probably.
So, not a good brand to buy because they're using fur in their ads. Now tell me, what the hell does that have to do with vodka?
Presumably, she is some peasant or something, a babushka. I don't know. What are you
wearing a full-length fur coat?
She certainly doesn't look like any kind of peasant to me. I have no idea. Are we to believe that she's the one who goes out and harvests the potato? That
Maybe.
To make the vodka? I guess.
It's
a fucking absurd ad. I mean, we should scan it and put it up. It's really fucking dumb.
It's unbelievably dumb.
It really is. And I don't know. The New Yorker has a lot of dumb shit in it usually.
Yeah, but the whole fur thing just bothers me.
The fur thing's absurd.
It is absurd. We do not need to wear fur.
Oh, hell no, we don't need to wear fur.
The animals need their fur. We do not.
No, we don't need their fur. Not at all. There was also a debate on our forums that was kind of interesting about fake fur. You know?
Yeah.
Is it okay to wear fake fur? Should you not wear fake fur? I mean, personally, I don't want to wear anything that looks like fur. No, I don't either. I couldn't buy anything that looked like fur at all. Not even fur trim I wouldn't want. Well, I mean, I think it creates, it helps to create the fashion sense around fur. I mean, it helps to, Gary made one of the forums that helps to kind of further the fur industry's interest by continually creating a market for real fur. So you have the fake stuff all over the place, and then people who've got money want to buy the real stuff. Right. Plus, there's some doubt sometimes with fake furs is that it's really fake, and that I don't think a lot of people know that a lot of fur comes from China. Yeah. Where animals are routinely skinned alive, and a lot of the fur is dog and cat fur. Meow. So I wonder if you can hear the cat on the interview with Karen. I bet we could. We had to put the dog outside during the interview just so he wouldn't interrupt because we didn't want to be rude to Karen. But the cat sat outside the door and meowed for 5 minutes because he wanted to get in. So I don't know if you can hear him or not, but. Oh, man. So, I don't know. We're sorry to be kind of heavy. It's just that, after spending a lot of time this morning talking to Karen Davis, who compares animal agriculture to slavery and the Holocaust, it's holy hell, it's a little heavy. Yeah. It's a little heavy. Yeah. But I've got something to lighten up the show. Okay. Music. And, we're going to play some music. This is from Chad. Chad was nice enough to send me some music, and this is great. I love this song, actually. I cannot... Poor Jenna. I've been running around the house going... Yes, all week. I really have. It's been completely pathetic. I'm such a loser. My life is so sad. But, I have fun. So this song is called Chicken Squawk. It's by MDC, and the lyrics are great. They're just excellent. You're going to hear it, and they're really good. So here it is.
I said, stop. I said, hold on there, boy.
When I walk into the store, they're selling chickens by the store. They're eating dead birds just ain't for me. And I don't eat roast beef or fish, and pork ain't big, it's not my dish. Go ahead and let your chickens free. Chicken orders for Purdue, wants to keep those chickens to you. I don't take orders from Colonel Sanders to you. And I don't want to eat no hands, not even every now and then. I just want to let all the little chickens be. We'll swing to the east and swing to the west, swinging the chicken that you love best, coming down to the chicken squawk with me. I'm wishing Daffy lots of locals, Elmer Fudd's a hunting duck, and Jimmy about a little fricassee. And Bugs Bunny's a friend of mine, eating him feel like Frankenstein, eating flesh is pretty foul to me. Cooking chickens don't seem right, morning, noon, or late at night, ain't no chicken ever does no harm to me. So on Thanksgiving or Christmas Eve, give those turkeys ever breathe. Ain't no turkey got to die for me. Well, swing to the east and swing to the west. Swing the chicken that you love best. Coming down to the chicken squawk with me. Buckle nugget, look at me, say NBC's okay with me. We learned how to let our chickens free. We birds of feathers, we stick together, we
plain chicken. Yeah.
Okay, that is the best song ever.
It is awesome. I love it. Thanks, Chad, for suggesting that.
Yeah, some of the lyrics are great. If you didn't listen in, man, it's just great. When I walk into the store, they sell the chickens by the score, but eating dead birds just ain't for me. I don't eat roast beef or fish. Porky pig is not my dish. Just go ahead and let your chickens be. I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
Yep, and the chorus, I just can't stop doing it. Buck, 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 buck. It's great. I love it. So thanks for that, Chad. That is completely kick-ass. And here we go. There's one other line in the song that's worth mentioning.
Okay.
So on Thanksgiving or Christmas Eve, give them turkeys a reprieve. Ain't no turkey gotta die for me.
Yeah.
So hopefully no turkey's gotta die for you. This is just completely fucking insane, this holiday.
Yeah, it is. It's sad. I wish it would be more of a celebration of like fall harvest kind of thing. I mean, you don't harvest turkeys, you kill turkeys.
Dude, that'd be like so totally pagan.
Yeah, it would.
You know, Christians would be all over that.
Yeah.
Like, that's pagan. Evil.
No, it's dark-sided.
Sorry, that's a reference to a very bad show entitled Dark-Sided. Yeah, there was a woman on...
Trading spouses.
Yeah, so for those of you that aren't in North America, we're really sorry. But the basic premise of the show is that two spouses trade places. They trade families for a week. It's reality TV. It really is. It's bad, you know. It's not very good. But two families trade spouses for a week. And usually they're complete opposite ends of the spectrum. So one of the shows included a vegan and a woman who raised alligators for a living. They swapped places. And the vegan was a complete fucking asshole.
Yeah.
She was she was evil. And they got her on camera beating a dog.
Yeah.
Well, not beating, but hitting a dog.
Hitting the dog, yeah.
And the most recent one I managed to grab from the internet was they swapped out a woman who is a hypnotherapist and astrologer with a woman from Louisiana who is a Christian of some denomination, but very serious, very large Christian.
Yeah.
And when I say large Christian, I don't mean that she's very Christian. I mean she's a large Christian. Yeah. So,
there's a lot of her.
So they swapped her out, and there's some really funny audio or video that came out of the whole thing. You should really check out.
Right. She basically flipped out at the end.
She goes completely insane and starts calling everything dark-sided. Everything is dark-sided. She gets all crazy. It's great.
Even her family was like, okay, what the hell?
Yeah, even her family was like, what the fuck? Yeah, you just got to wonder. So anyway, sorry. Bad television. We'd hoped to give it up a while ago, and we did, in fact, get rid of cable, but because of the joy of the internet, so I can find almost anything I want.
Yeah.
I've heard so many good things about the show that I had to...
We had to see it.
Yeah, and it was worth it.
Yeah.
It was definitely
so
worth it.
entertaining.
It was like, completely hilarious. So anyway, but to get back to the real point of our of our podcast isn't to talk about bad radio or bad television.
No, it's to talk about vegans.
And going vegan and being vegan.
Yay.
You know, you should go vegan if you aren't.
Yeah, it's so worth it.
Suckers.
But we're going to talk about that later.
Are we?
More. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. But I think one of the reasons that people in general either don't even consider vegetarianism, let alone veganism, I was just thinking about this the other day, and I forget what prompted me to think about it, is that people never seem to see the big picture. Like, they so are concentrated on, oh, this tastes good right now, so I have to eat this right now, my cheeseburger or my grilled cheese sandwich or my ice cream, and I can't give it up because it tastes good right now. And, you know, I'm not going to live my life eating, you know, crappy food. I want to eat, you know, what I want to eat. I want to eat my meat. And they don't see...
Eat my meat.
They don't see... Bob's mind's always in the gutter. They don't ever think about the fact what impact, you know, their taste buds have on the rest of the world. And they never even think about the fact that so much suffering goes in to make that hamburger. They don't think about the environmental impacts that goes into that hamburger. They don't ever think about the fact that it ruins down the line, it's going to ruin their health. I mean, they don't even, when it's selfish and when it's totally about them, they don't even care. Mm-hmm. They just, you know, just want that taste right now, but you know, it all builds up, and later on then they have heart problems and high cholesterol and diabetes, and they're obese, and this is what happens when you eat like that.
Well, I think it's so easy for people to look beyond, you know, well, I think it's so easy for people just to think in very immediate terms, and it's difficult for people to look beyond those immediate terms. I mean, I got into an argument with a friend of mine who said that he believed that the first animal that one must respect is one's own animal. And if one's own animal needs meat and dairy and eggs and cheese, well, then one must have some sympathy for one's own animal, because we need to recognize that human beings are in fact animals, and we should feed ourselves those things. But I think that argument is completely absurd, because it ignores the suffering of other animals at the expense of your own desires.
Yeah.
I mean, it's absurd. There's no reason for it.
Yeah, and how can you feed your own animal with the death of others? I mean, that's just got to be bad karma.
Yeah, I can't imagine it's good karma. I just think it's absurd. So I think, we meet a lot of people who love meat and love meat unapologetically, who love dairy and love it unapologetically. But I meet a lot of people who are borderline borderline vegans, and I don't know what it is. I mean, to me, and I don't mean any offense by this, but to me, going vegan is really easy. You just decide you're going to do it and you do it.
Yeah, I mean, that's how we did it. We just decided one day, all right, we're going to do it. And we just stopped. And, we used up the tiny bits of dairy and egg that we had in our fridge and didn't buy it anymore.
So I think it's actually really that easy. I mean, I think if you get all caught up in the idea that it's more difficult than that, yeah, it can be. But I think actually in terms of doing it, if you live on your own or you live with a significant other, you can probably do it that easily. You can probably just stop doing it. But I don't know, maybe we're making it sound too easy.
Well, it's easy for us because we have each other and we don't have a lot of friends. We're actually going to talk about that. It comes up with an email later on.
Okay.
But
so we'll get there in a moment.
We'll get there in a minute. Because it does make it more complicated than that for people.
But all this stuff about not looking beyond your immediate sphere, it makes me think of the film Earthlings, which I just ordered and got this past week. And I sat down and watched it right after we got it in the mail. And man, it was difficult.
Yeah. They started off talking about pets, and I'm like, oh, doggies. And I'm like watching this section on pets, and then they started talking about puppy farms, and then they started talking about shelters where they put them to sleep, and I started to get really upset, and I couldn't, since I'm already the choir, I don't need to, they're preaching to the choir, I don't need to hear it. So I had to leave. I mean, it was too upsetting for me, so. I
think the film is really well done. I mean, it's split into, I forget the number of segments. I probably should have written this down before I did a review of it on the air. It's split up into segments where it looks at animals as pets, animals as entertainment, animals as food, animals as clothing, and it goes into a lot of detail on all these different issues and shows you footage of how animals are, I hate to say processed, but that's what it comes down to. And some of the footage is very difficult to watch, very difficult, very harrowing. My only real complaint with the film is that the voiceover by Joaquin Phoenix is a little weak. I mean, it's kind of like I don't know. Maybe I'm just being picky. I think the voiceover isn't as good as it could be. But beyond that, I feel like it's a really powerful film. It's extremely powerful. Parts of it are extremely difficult to watch, but it is the kind of film that I think can make people vegan, because it connects. It does precisely what it is that we're saying doesn't get done enough. It connects the consumer with the goods that are being produced and how they're being produced. And unfortunately, in when we say goods, animals are made into goods, and this film shows that very powerfully. And even looks at things that we don't think about very often. Like it looks at the production of leather, and it looks at how even Indian cows are used to produce leather. And in fact, that's one of the major markets, major suppliers for the American leather market is from India. Because there's this assumption that Indian cows are in fact okay, well, they're treated well and all that. But the film details how that happens. The film also details a dolphin slaughter, which is really sad and kind of horrible. And it looks at rodeos in depth. It looks at circuses, and it has about 2.5 minutes of footage that I really liked, which was revenge.
Elephant revenge.
Yeah, revenge footage. Which is, I was cheering. I felt kind of bad, right? Because I shouldn't be cheering the death of these trainers. But when you see what these trainers do to these elephants and what they do to these poor, massive. These animals are massive and relatively gentle, and they're literally taking hooks. These long hooks that have a handle on them and sinking them into the feet of the elephant.
Ew.
In order to get the elephant to do things. And apparently some elephants just, fuck it. They had enough and they go insane. And of course, the sad end of that is that the elephants are often well, not often. I think when they do this, they're killed.
Yeah, I would imagine.
So, they had footage of it in the video, and it's really sad. It's really sad to see. But on the other hand, it was also kind of like nice to see some revenge, too, because you just get tired of seeing all of this slaughter happen. It's just horrible.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of slaughter footage in it. There's a lot of footage of. There's a long discussion of vivisection in the film, which is really solid, very good. And the film does a really nice job of showing how, essentially, we are all of the Earth. We are all Earthlings, and that insofar as we are all Earthlings, we all essentially share this planet, and it makes humanity look like a real fucking scourge, which is what we are.
Yeah, and it's kind of depressing to think about that we're doing so many horrible things to the planet and to other beings on the planet, when we're in fact... I mean, we were just talking last night, the two of us, about how similar we are to animals. Because the dog was like sitting, beached himself on our laps, and talking about all the similarities that we have with other mammals and with just animals in general.
Absolutely. I mean, the similarities are completely compelling. And I think we don't stop enough to think about it. I think we're caught up in these kind of artificial divisions between humans and animals. It's absurd. Earthlings does a good job of reminding you that those divisions are absurd, and it's a powerful film. I recommend it highly, but I recommend you watch it when you're feeling kind of strong,
Yeah.
So I recommend you watch it, or you show it to people who you want, maybe. I don't know. It's kind of hard. So yeah, it's a great film though. I don't want to say I enjoyed it, because it's a difficult film to enjoy. But I do think it's very well done. I think it's very powerful, and I recommend it in that way.
It sounds like it touches on a lot of issues that, like you just said, don't get touched on. Because you see a lot of the other videos, like Peaceful Kingdom talks about, factory farming, and then The Witness talks about fur. But you don't ever hear too much about leather or dolphins or rodeos or circuses and that put together with the food and how it's all related.
Yeah, the whole thing's pulled together. And one other thing that it touches on that I think a lot of these other films don't touch on is fishing, and how horrible fishing is, and how much fish feel and sense and understand. And I think this video really, it shows it in a very powerful way. They also show footage of whale hunting, which is just horrible. The fishing footage is bad. I mean, all the footage is very... It's difficult. I mean, it's difficult to watch. But on the other hand, I think it's important to know what goes on, and I think it's important for us as vegans and as people who are activists. Some of us are activists in this area. So I think it's really important for us to know exactly what goes on, how it goes on, and what it looks like. And I think for that reason, it's important to watch this video.
All right.
So you can get it from their website. I think it's Nation Earth. I will put a link up. I encourage you to go get it, to go buy a copy. I think it's an incredible film, very powerful, and go check it out. It's rough, but go look at it. So what now? I mean,
voicemail.
Voicemail.
We get to play our voicemail ditty.
The voicemail ditty should help to lighten things up.
Yes,
we're
I think so.
We're a little we're a little heavy. What is that? Isn't there what do you call it? A school of German literature that strung und drang or something?
Oh, yeah. Drum and strung or strum and... I do know the term, yeah.
No,
yeah,
I don't.
Yeah.
But anyway, we're being very hard. We're being very... Sorry, we're kind of operating on a low note today. But the Vegan Freak voicemail theme song, that'll get you back up. So here it is.
Time once again for some Vegan Freak voicemail. Maybe we'll hear from a hot chick
or a choice male.
Callers make us happy and help us keep our sanity, even if all they wanna do is fucking complain about the shit load of profanity.
All right, so Veghead giving us the kick-ass theme song. And who's our first voicemail from?
Sarah Nicole.
Okay, so here's Sarah Nicole.
She was on just to remind our listeners, she was on last week, and she has a follow-up.
Oh, wonderful. Well, here it is.
All right.
Hi, Bob and Jenna. This is Sarah Nicole. I just finished listening to your last podcast, and I wanted to say thank you for the information that Jenna gave out about vivisection. I will get myself over to the PCRM website and read that article and do my own research, I guess, because I was just being lazy and I wanted you to do it. So thank you. Also, I wanted to comment on Jenna had said that she feels like she has more energy, like she doesn't crash so much now that she's vegan. And I just wanted to report that I feel the same way. Since giving up dairy and eggs, I really feel like I have more energy. I don't need a nap as often, and I'm also less moody. Like, I just feel more cheerful and less stressed out. And I read somewhere I think it was in Diet for a New America by John Robbins, I believe, that, he believes that is because when you eat dairy and eggs and animal products, you are ingesting the animal's pain and fear and kind of just like consuming this torturous lifestyle that they led. And, myself, I think that sounds a little too, hippy-dippy. I don't really buy into that so much, but, there must be an explanation because I feel it too. Also, I can't be the only cat owner that's called in about this, but if your cat can't clear a room with his farts, then you are truly leading a charmed life, because let me tell you, my cat is capable of some pretty ripe, foul, vile, gag-inducing flatulence. It is just rotten. So, count your lucky stars if your cat can't do the same. That's all. Keep up the good work, guys. Love the show.
That's great.
I know. I love how she describes how her cat can clear the room.
Oh, man.
I guess we are pretty lucky. Our cat doesn't fart too much. So.
No, at least not around us.
No.
He spends a lot of time in the basement.
Maybe that's where he farts.
That's like his domain. He goes down in the basement. That's where he chills out.
Yeah, it's the only place where the dog can't go. So
do you feel less moody and more happy since being vegan?
Yeah, I think so.
Really?
Yeah, really.
Does that include you being less moody at me?
I don't know. You tell me. Apparently not, then.
I'm just kidding. You're pretty nice to me. Because I'm a pain in the ass.
No, you're not.
So thanks for that, Sarah Nicole. I don't know. You mentioned that you thought that the thing that John Robbins said could be a little hippy-dippy. And yeah, I think it is a little hippy-dippy. But on the other hand, you think, when animals are being slaughtered, right, a lot of them know what's coming. And there's all that adrenaline running through them. And, it's quite possible. Also, I talked about this on the Verato show, but there's a vegan. No, he's not a vegan. He was a French anarchist, and his name was Elisée Reclus, and he wrote an essay about how what we eat directly impacts the way that we go about living in the world. And he didn't have any scientific basis for it. For him, it was more of a spiritual question, that we should live in companionship with animals rather than consuming them. And I think certainly that figures in here too. I mean, why not?
Yeah, makes sense to me.
So, well, go check out that stuff, the PCRM website.
Yeah. And, it is good information what they talk about. So. And
there's also a book that I do want to review. I talked about last week by what the hell? I can't remember their name. The first name, but the last name is Greek. And the book is called Sacred Cows and Golden Eggs, maybe. And it's about vivisection. So I want to eventually get to that book, but I'm a busy guy. I got shit to do.
You're just going to have time to read it first.
That's what I have to do. But the book also looks at the human cost of animal experimentation. I think it does it at least the reviews I've read of the book say that it does it in a very solid way, using studies that show, in fact, that it's problematic. So who's our next voicemail?
Why don't we do Mike's next, because it's also actually from 2 podcasts ago. He was the one who was on the fast.
Oh, the 10-day fast.
Yeah, and the voicemail cut him off, yeah. and he never got back to us before our podcast last week. But now he has an update about. We asked him if he ever made that soup, matzo ball soup.
Well, just to remind people who may not have listened, right? He said that he was on 10-day fast and he was listening to our podcast, and at the end of his fast, he was thinking about making matzo ball soup, and he heard we were making matzo ball soup, and that's it cut him off because our voicemail system blows and sucks.
Yeah.
In 4 and 5 different ways. So here's that one. Okay.
Hey, Vegan Freaks, it's Mike again. I learning how to use your voicemail a little bit. I have a stopwatch in hand, so I'm counting the minutes here. Anyway, on my 10-day fast, I came off of it. I ended up making some matzo ball soup based on what I heard on your podcast. Dude, those matzo balls sucked. I'm telling you, they were horrible. I mean, eggs, like I'm learning how to cook without that stuff, right? So now I did a little more research. It turns out you have to use wheat gluten. So now I tried it again with wheat gluten. I'm starting to get the hang of it. So you can't just use the matzo meal and cornstarch. It won't work. You need wheat gluten. That takes the place of the goopiness of the eggs. So I'm getting the hang of it. Anyway, I'm going to have it for lunch now. But what I was going to say is I didn't really know going into that 10-day fast why I was doing it. It was just kind of a macho thing, to kind of show that I could. And also because I do it occasionally. But this may be of interest to other of your listeners, as I've always been struggling with this vegan lifestyle. I was able to do the shoes and the belt and everything like that, but it was hard for me to turn down food that was in front of me. I would cheat. I'd have like a cookie for my kids or something like this, and it wasn't working completely. So, oh, hey, what's up? So it turns out probably the reason behind it is if I can go without food for 10 days, okay, if I could do that, then when something's in front of me like a cookie or a fish stick, then I can turn that down easy. If I can go 10 days with drinking nothing but water and juice, then it's easier for me to get that lifestyle that I want. And I think that was the value of what I had done there. So there you have it. Take care.
Okay, that was great. So 10 days without food proved to you that you could do without things in the short term. That's cool.
Yeah, hey, man, if that works for you, great.
We got to talk to you about matzo balls, though.
Yep.
Isa, her cookbook, Vegan with a Vengeance, which has been out quite a while now. You need to pick that up because that has the killer recipe in it for matzo balls.
Yes, it is the vegan matzo ball soup recipe.
I completely agree. You can't... She engineered... It is... Cooking, it is kitchen engineering, man. She engineered the perfect matzo ball and put it in her cookbook. So listen, Mike, you need to check out Isa's cookbook because that has the recipe in it. Her matzo balls are perfect.
It involves silken tofu.
Silken tofu
is the magic ingredient.
Oil, matzo meal.
Yep. So you can still use the matzo meal, but you just need silken tofu.
And they taste really good. They're kick-ass. They are amazing.
We've made it like 3 times now.
I know.
Since we got the cookbook. But...
And I was sick this weekend when we made it.
Yeah,
so.
It came out well.
To take care of me being sick.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, speaking of me being sick, I was talking to Ryan at VegBlog, and Ryan, you know, says that he makes a point of telling everyone that when he gets a cold, that it's like the first cold he's had in 2 or 3 years or whatever.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't want everybody to think, oh, it's a sickly vegan.
Yeah, I know.
You know? So I was in the other day, I was in the office and I was in the mailroom and I was coughing, picking up my mail and I was coughing. And one of my colleagues came in and said, you see, you eat too much health food. You need more preservatives in your diet in order to be truly healthy. It's all that vegan food you eat. So apparently I need more preservatives in my diet.
Yeah.
Also, this reminds me of a funny story. A friend of mine from graduate school, she was from India, and her father told her not to drink the orange juice in America.
Orange? I thoued it was the bread.
Bread and the orange juice, right? Because what was the argument that there were preservatives in all of it, and when you died, you would never rot because of all the preservatives.
Yeah, I mean, there's got to be something wrong. And we've bought bread from the grocery store, and we've had it out for like more than 2 weeks, and it doesn't go moldy.
Yeah, that's true. Some of that stuff
is bizarre. So I can see where the concern comes from.
Me too.
I mean, that's a lot of preservatives.
But if anybody's not rotting in the ground, you know it's Jerry Garcia. All the drugs that guy did. Have you ever seen a sticker to say, I killed Jerry Garcia?
No.
They're great. They're completely fucking right. They're completely ridiculous. They're great, though. It's a good way to get beat up by hippies.
True.
Okay, so Mike, thanks for that on the 10-day fast. And I think you got a special thing for fish sticks, my man. I can hear it in there. You know, how about the fish sticks and cookies? Cookies.
We made some really good vegan cookies.
Yeah, man. When we were at the Boston Food Fair, we picked up all the stuff from Good Baker, and we picked up a chocolate chip cookie mix, and it is amazing.
Yeah, and they're whole grain, and they're really good.
They're excellent. They're really good.
So.
And, you know, I would never think whole grain cookies could be so good, but they really are.
Mm-hmm.
And we're not getting paid to say this right now.
No, we're not.
So.
We just happen to get all these mixes, and like after dinner every night, we've been like, I want a cookie. Let's make cookies. So we did.
I just like to pimp things that are good. I like to pimp the good products, man.
Yeah.
You know, I'm all about it. All right, so what other voicemails we got?
We've got one from Germany.
Oh, yes. Yes,
it's a quick
indeed.
one.
It's 14 seconds from Germany, and here it is.
Hallo Bob und Jenna, hier ist Wiebke aus Berlin. Thanks for mentioning my column, and Bob, your pronunciation is just excellent. So come back to Berlin soon, and wir haben ein Bier. All right, bye.
Okay, thanks, Wiebke.
Yeah, that's great. I want to go back to Berlin very badly.
Yes, we had a blast when we were there.
I had a very good time.
So much fun.
It could be just because I wandered around drinking beer and not speaking German.
Yeah, that could be. No, we did little touristy things. We went to see the Brandenburg Gate, and there's the dog drinking water again.
Yeah, you could probably hear it.
Yeah. I think we even went to a museum. Didn't we?
I don't know. I don't remember.
I don't remember.
I was just wandering around drinking these Beck's Pounders. When
we went to the Checkpoint Charlie Museum.
Yeah, we did. I remember now.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah, it was actually interesting.
It was.
And we ate a lot of good food. We ended up eating like Chinese food and Indian food and Italian food and a lot of great things. So
I remember we also wandered around for a very long time looking for old communist things,
Oh yeah.
Karl Marx paraphernalia and things like that.
Yeah, we found Karl Marx Strasse.
Yeah.
Or was it Platz?
I don't remember. And we found old statues and things like that because, I don't know, I'm kind of a dork Marxist.
So, yeah, we had a blast and we'd love to go back because it's a great city.
Yeah, it really is. And hopefully we'll go back sometime soon.
Yeah.
And speaking of worldwide vegans...
Yes, you have to listen to the next. The voicemail is so excited. It was actually not a voicemail. They sent us an audio file.
Yes.
So
It is very cool, and I'm very happy finally to be in touch with someone from this part of the world.
Yes.
So here it is.
Hello, I am Felix from Austria. Greetings to the United States. I've heard that you are searching for people from Vienna who live vegan, and I am one of at least 6,000 vegans in Vienna. In Vienna there are 25 completely vegetarian restaurants and 10 who are almost vegetarian with a good vegan choice. Peter also voted Vienna for the most vegetarian-friendly city all over Europe. And also in Vienna there are 3 animal rights groups: the VUGT, the Vegan Society Austria, the BAT, with together more than 50 animal rights activists on the streets. In Vienna there is also the first animal rights radio of Austria. You can download and listen to it on the website veganchris.at. And if you want to contact us here in Vienna, if you visit Vienna, for example, you can contact us at vegan.at or per email info@vegan.at. Thank you very much.
So we were very happy to hear from Felix. Thank you so much, Felix. We really appreciate it. And whomever got in touch with Felix, let him know that we needed to hear from him. Thank you to you.
Yes, indeed. Vegans in Vienna. And there are quite a few.
Yeah. Did you hear how many he said?
6,000.
Yeah. And then all the restaurants and all that?
Yeah. I had no idea that it was such a vegan-friendly place.
Now I want to go to Vienna and to Berlin.
Me too.
So.
Me too.
Yeah.
And by the way, your English was very good, Felix. He was worried.
No, it was kick-ass.
It was very, very good.
Amazing English. I mean, much better, than any foreign language I speak, Well, I speak Spanish pretty well, but I could definitely not speak any, whatever. It doesn't matter. So, thanks, Felix. And see, there are vegans in Vienna. There are quite a few.
There are quite a few of them.
We've asked to be in touch, and man, it sounds like they're quite organized vegans in Vienna.
Yeah, so now you all can go find out information about Vienna and vegans in Vienna and animal rights groups, and we now have a contact in Vienna.
Yeah, it sounded like you could get in touch with them ahead of time, and if you had questions about where to go in Vienna to eat and things like that. So, you certainly could do that. I imagine they'd be happy to hear from you.
Yeah.
How cool.
Very cool.
Nice. So, that's it for the voicemails.
Yeah, that's it this week. And now we have some music.
We didn't play the closing theme.
Oh, okay. We got to play the closing theme because it talks about vegans in Vienna.
Duh.
Yeah, okay.
Here it is.
267-295-1944. Write the number down on your refrigerator door. Add the 001 country code if you call us from Vienna. That's how you leave a voicemail for good old Bob and Jenna.
And so give us a call. The number is in the little theme there. And we love to hear from you. We really do love voicemails. Speaking of voicemails, we always promise buttons. You need to send us your address if you've left us a voicemail and you want a button in the mail.
Yeah.
A Vegan Freak button.
Because we have buttons now.
This includes international. So Vipka and Felix, if you guys want a button, send us your address and we'll get them out to you.
Yep.
And also, one other thing for the donators, we keep telling you that we've got stuff coming along, and we do have it coming along. We will have it to you prior to Thanksgiving.
Yep.
We'll have it in the mail prior to Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
We'll have a little package together for you.
Yeah.
So we're working on that.
All right. Oh, one more thing about the voicemails. Apparently, Dino, who called last week and left us a 5-minute voicemail, we wondered how he did that. Apparently, the nice little voicemail voice came on and asked him if he wanted to append his next message to the old one.
But Ben Conservato said that never didn't happen with her.
So I don't know.
Maybe near the end of 2 minutes you gotta press 4 and it'll extend it.
Maybe. Or maybe you have to call back and then press 4?
No, I don't think so, because then how would it know?
I don't know, because it's calling from the same number. I don't know.
We'll have to figure this out.
Yeah, maybe we'll have to call ourselves.
I think Dino's got some magic.
Apparently Dino has some magic. And Dino has put some excellent recipes on our forums, by the way.
Oh, fuck yeah.
So he put that recipe that we talked about last week. They're on our forums, the Dino salad. It looks incredible. We haven't tried it yet, but all the recipes look really good.
It does look really good. You need to go to our forums and check it out. So we've got some music from you. This is from Drew, and Drew was kind enough to send a lot of these files to me twice because we had some kind of email fart. I don't know what happened. But Drew sent me a bunch of files. This one's from Drew. Drew, I got to thank you, man. You sent me some excellent music. Chad, you sent me some excellent music. And this is Flux of Pink Indians, and the song is called Strive to Survive. And here it is. Okay, so I fucked up there. That is off of the album Strive to Survive. The song is Sick Butchers. The lyrics are kick-ass, man. They are, I used to graze in a field, used to breathe, I used to be alive, to chew the grass in the fields. Could see and hear the world around me, see and fear man around me, had a virgin skin but now sold to supermarkets. And it goes on and on, and the last line is the best. You know, you try to stroke me in a field, then go home and eat me as your meal. And I think that so succinctly sums up humans' relationship with animals.
Yep.
Quite sad.
Yep, but that's actually an excellent song. I really like that one.
Yeah, it is really. It's pretty solid.
Yeah.
So we've got some emails to deal with now.
Emails.
Yeah, we don't have an email theme.
We don't have an email song.
Hey, come on, Veghead.
Okay.
I'm just kidding. Poor Veghead. He's written all these themes for us. And
I know, it's been great.
Yeah, it's excellent. So we need an email theme. I could make one, but I have no musical talent. You don't want me to sing.
No.
Believe me, you do not want me to sing. It is sad and pathetic and horrible. Go ahead, Jenna.
So our first one is from actually someone on our forums, Dan the Liberal, who, and we asked the question in last week's podcast about if you're not vegan yet, and we wondered why. Like, what is holding you back and she sent us an email telling us why. And she said that she used to be vegan, and then she sort of went back to being a vegetarian, and it had a lot to do with the lack of support that she had, and it made me realize how hard it is for some people. I mean, she lives in the middle of nowhere and has a hard time finding some ingredients that would help her make a lot of vegan meals. And has no support from, when she goes out to eat, and people make fun of her and people give her a really hard time. And there was even someone in her class who made a t-shirt against her.
No, that's just absurd.
Yeah. So she's getting a lot of flack for being a vegan where she lives. And so it was really hard in terms of peer pressure, in terms of, not being able to go out and enjoy herself with friends and family because they would give her a hard time, because they would see it as more of a difficulty than anything. So that stopped her. But I got another email from her today saying that she's made a renewed commitment to being vegan.
Cool.
And what I wrote in an email to her is that I think one of the things that, us living in the middle of nowhere, one of the things that we do is we order a lot of ingredients online.
Yeah, online is the best.
We're lucky enough to have a co-op that we can get some things, but it's kind of limited. We can't get a lot of things. And another thing I told her is that if you have the chance to take a trip to a big city near, she's in Pittsburgh's about 50 miles away.
That's
we
not
do
bad.
this. We go to Ottawa, or sometimes we even go down to Ithaca. And bring a cooler with us, and we stock up. So that's one thing to do.
It can be really hard, though, if you're the only person that's a vegan, and to be around that can be very challenging.
Yeah, but I think another thing that's important is that I think you really have to learn how to take care of yourself.
That's true.
And then just you worry about taking care of yourself and not worry about other people taking care of you. Mm-hmm. So don't put it on them to help, have a meal for you. You bring your own food if you're going to go to their house. If you're going to a restaurant, maybe ask if they can make you something simple that's vegan. That way you don't have to have a huge argument about where you're going to go eat.
Yeah, it can be hard. I mean, and I think also, I think people eventually get used to it and just get tired of bothering you about it.
I would think.
I know.
Yeah.
I really think that it would get to that point eventually. The dog really wants to play right now.
He does. He's got his football.
He's got this little plastic football that I think is his favorite toy.
Wait, listen to the Wookiee noises.
Yeah, there's a dog. He wants to play. He's so spoiled.
He is.
So the dog wants to play very badly. But to get back to the question of veganism, if we can, we feel your pain. It's tough, but I think sometimes if you can make a stand and decide it's what you're going to do, and you can stick to it, sometimes people will back off in terms of giving you shit.
Yeah, and it's hard because you don't want to be the pain in the ass. And
no, you really don't.
But I guess sometimes you just got to be a little pushier maybe than you want to be. I mean, it's hard for me to do, and I understand that because I don't like to be that person. But
no, you're not pushy at all.
No, I'm not. But I don't know. I guess I also mentioned that we never have this problem because we don't go out to eat ever.
Yeah, I mean, I think it takes a while to get to a place where you're comfortable enough to. I mean, I think earlier we maybe made light of becoming vegan a little too easily.
Yeah.
It's hard for some people who are in certain situations to do it.
Yeah.
I recognize that and understand that. There are external constraints that are operating on you. So, there's no doubt it can be difficult, but I think in time, again, I just think it can take some time, but I think it can happen,
Yeah, definitely.
So, what other voicemails do we have?
Emails.
Oh, I'm sorry. I get voice and email mixed up.
We have one from the dog, who apparently has something to say.
Oh, does he?
He won't give up.
He really won't.
Yes, hi.
You said more dog in the podcast.
There you go.
It's a little too much of dog in the podcast, I think.
He sounded asleep a little bit ago.
He was.
But, yes, anyway, this other email was from someone else who's having a family problem. And that our emails... All right, now he's biting my arm.
All right, we got to...
Okay, and after that technical difficulty there, i.e. the dog, what I was going to say about this email that we got was about another family problem in that this person was dining with boyfriend and her boyfriend's mother, and she was tired of people picking on vegetarians, and she made some sort of comment about how vegetarians live longer, which is very true. And the mother came back quite rudely and said, yeah, well, you can live to be 77 and I'll live to be 76, and I can eat whatever the hell I want and enjoy myself.
Yeah.
And that made her very angry, is understandably. And so she's tired of people, with that kind of attitude. And, she was upset because she couldn't have a good retort at the time.
But she says in her email that she wants to listen to our show and not think about it. And here we are.
I know, and here we are talking about it. So maybe this can give you some catharsis, that we can gripe about it with you. How's
there you
that?
go.
I'm hoping that, because I was hesitant to bring it up, because I'm like, But we're with you on that one. It is so frustrating, because I hear that one from my dad all the time. That he says, I'm going to eat whatever the hell I want and drink whatever the hell I want, and, I'm going to enjoy myself. But what I consider to be quality of life is actually feeling good and not feeling like I'm, contributing to the death of all these animals and to the destruction of the earth.
And not feeling like you have lead in your stomach, too.
Yeah.
Like you've eaten, I don't know, when I eat poorly, I know it. And I haven't eaten animal products in quite a while, but I would imagine, you can really feel it.
Yeah, but even if you eat something like deep fried vegan something or other,
deep fried.
That makes you feel ugh. So, it's just, you
but
feel
pacatas,
it.
they make you feel better.
Oh, yeah, they're so good, though, but it's worth it.
We should make those for dinner.
Maybe we should.
I don't think we
don't
have
any cauliflower.
You can make with other things.
Yeah, that's true.
Cauliflower are the best. I think they're the best, right?
Yeah. But anyway.
Yeah. So here we are talking about deep fried food, and I'm like, let's make it.
Let's make some deep fried food, and so we feel crappy afterwards.
But I don't feel crappy after I eat that.
It's just you eat too much of it.
There you go.
That's the difficulty. But anyway, yeah, we feel your pain, and I think, I mentioned in an email back to her that it's a defensive mechanism that a lot of people come out like, they know, just even if you don't say anything, they know just by you eating something different that what they're doing is wrong, and they get defensive about it.
And they get pissed. I don't know. What can you do? But that's when you hear a lot, oh, well, I know someone who ate 4 steaks a day and lived to be 90.
Yeah.
And, fine. Someone who ate 4 steaks a day and lived to be 90, but, that's not the norm. The norm is not that.
Nope. The norm is to have heart disease, diabetes, obesity, all the problems that result from eating that kind of diet. All
of these are coming about because we're eating now like only kings and queens used to eat.
Yeah. So
a lot of the problems that even the average person in a developed country has now are the problems of royalty in the past, because we all essentially eat like royalty now. And, it takes a toll on animals, it takes a toll on our health, it takes a toll on the environment.
Yep.
Man, meat eating sucks.
Yes, it does.
And so does cheese, too. And eggs.
Yeah.
And milk.
Yep.
So, fuck all that shit.
Right.
Fuck all that shit. We got another email this week from someone named Carly. And Carly says that she really likes our podcast, and she has a long commute to work, and our podcast helps break up that commute a little bit, so we're happy for that. She's a vegetarian, she's working towards veganism, and she lives in kind of a conservative meat eating kind of place. And, welcome to our world.
Mm-hmm.
And she said there's a co-op and there's some restaurants and things like that. No, the restaurants aren't much help, but the co-op actually has some vegan stuff. Sounds exactly like where we are. No restaurants we can eat out here.
Yep.
But, that's cool, because we can cook better than most of the restaurants can anyway.
Yeah.
And all of them can. Pretty much.
Around here, yeah.
So her question is about leather. Do you simply get rid of all your leather items, or do you just no longer purchase new items and hope your leather wears out, or do you give them away? And to answer the question, I sent her actually a couple of pages from our book, but the basic gist of it was that, look, from our angle, it depends on where you're at. If you can't stand to wear it, don't wear it. But I personally think that some things, if you have old leather goods and you can't afford to replace them, or you don't want to replace them, wear them until they wear out or give them away.
Yep. It basically comes down to what you can afford to do right now, I think, for a lot of people. And some people are at a place where they can just say, okay, I'm just going to give it away, give it to the thrift store, even if it's brand new. You can even sell it on eBay or something, like a leather jacket. You can sell that kind of thing on eBay. Or, whatever. Free Cycle, one of these places, give away your things so they do get worn out, but by someone else. And if you can afford to replace them, do so. But we still have a few things around the house that we just haven't been able to afford to replace yet. And just when they wear out, then we'll replace them. Little by little. We got rid of all our shoes mostly. But it takes some time for most people.
It does take some time, and I think you need to be patient and I also think, it's up to you in some situations. You can lie too. I mean, you can tell people it's pleather. Who cares?
Yeah, right.
Just lie.
Say, a lot of pleather looks like leather right now.
It really does.
A lot of you can't tell the difference.
Speaking of pleather, my students in class one day had to give a presentation on some kind of social or cultural other who are outside of the norm. And one of the others they did a presentation on and were hookers, prostitutes.
Oh, yeah.
And one of the defining characteristics they came up with for prostitutes was wearing pleather.
Okay.
Yeah, wearing short skirts and wearing pleather.
That's bizarre.
I thought that was kind of weird too, because I was like, how do they know prostitutes wear pleather? Where did they get this idea from?
I don't know.
I've never heard of that.
Me either.
I don't really get it.
I don't know. So
maybe there are a lot of vegan prostitutes out there. Wearing all that pleather. I don't know, man.
I have no clue.
Very strange.
I guess the common concept is that it's cheaper.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's it. But, if you look around, sometimes it isn't cheaper.
No, is it good quality pleather? It's not.
Not always. So, anyway, I think there are a variety of things you can do in that situation, and, it's up to you. I personally don't like to wear a lot of things that kind of have a leather. I don't like to wear the leather I still have.
Yeah, it makes me feel weird. It makes me feel weird.
I have very little, actually.
Yeah.
But, I don't like to wear it, and I think it sends a weird message, especially if you're out doing a weekly podcast talking about how evil how evil it is to hurt animals and all that stuff, and then wearing them on your feet or whatever. But everybody's in a different place, and I don't think that you should necessarily beat yourself over something like that. I think what really counts, the deed's already been done in a sense. What really counts, I think, is making the steps towards being vegan and being vegan, every day living as a vegan and making those choices to cut back. I think that's where it really comes in.
Yeah, and the next time you buy something, make sure you buy something vegan.
Oh, hell yeah. Oh, hell yeah. So, okay, we have... should we do the Verado segment or should we do the If You're Not Yet Vegan segment?
I don't know. What should we do first?
Oh, holy hell. Let's do Verado.
Okay.
So we've talked on the show for a couple of weeks now about how we were on the Verado live show. And Verado does a show out of Asheville, North Carolina that looks at kind of... I think that the motto is bring you the best in global consciousness. Isn't that what it is?
I don't know, something like that.
And therefore, I understand why he would have us on. We are the best in global consciousness.
Okay, the very best, right?
No fucking doubt about it, man. No, I'm just kidding. But he had us on the show because of our book. And we had a very interesting conversation with Verado. And one part of the conversation turned towards a completely different kind of meat. Mm-hmm. And I think we should play that for you.
Yep.
So what we'll do is begin with Verado talking about his own... where he stands kind of in dietary situation, and then my follow-up question to him on the phone.
Yeah.
And it's only about 2 or 3 minutes, so we'll let that roll.
Okay.
I was a carnivore myself, steak tartar, raw meat and whatever. I've even eaten the human flesh. I've eaten a man's finger one time as interviewing Duchamp Jersey, the famous explorer. But it's interesting, my wife is pulling me along and moving me from the meat stuff, then to the fish stuff, and then I spent a lot of time in India, and then I kind of got away from the eggs, but I still like that paneer, so I have not jumped into that mode. I still take dairy, and I'm watching it carefully and making the transition like to goat's milk and whatever. But my wife, my beloved Deraja, of course, I can pull her down. This is something I want to share with you. If two people are together in a familial situation, I only can remember a quote from Rabbi Zalman Schachter, a good friend of mine, a Hasidic Jew and a vegetarian, by the way. And he was at a special party somewhere, somehow in the other world, and placed before him on this plate was a juicy loin of pork. So he had a choice. He's not only vegetarian, but he's a Jew, And he said, in your heart, in the truth of who you really are, I take this into my mouth, and he said, I will take it with such love and such equanimity to have that feeling of what I'm doing. It's here already. What am I going to throw it out? They're not going to eat it. It will, it's almost like eating roadkill. And he said, I ate it with such love. I let the drippings of oil drip down my beard. I never forget that. So, I don't know, any comments on that?
That's kind of a setup, isn't it?
Of course it is.
Can Can I ask you a question, though?
You may.
You said you ate a human finger?
Yes, not the whole finger, several bites of it.
Wow.
Yeah.
So is it true that all flesh tastes of chicken?
No, this was a black man. It tasted like pork.
Huh.
Now, I'm not going to make a comment because I never ate a white man's finger. But right now, the going is that this Homo sapien, and it was like beef jerky. The guy took it out of his pocket. I'll tell you the story. Listeners are going to want to hear this anyway. I was interviewing Dushyant Jersey. Look him up on the internet. Anyway, he's one of the last explorers, and blah, blah, blah. His parents were some sort of Christian missionaries, and he lived where the people are called cannibals. And they're not really what we think they are. They don't have these things through the nose. Some do, but they also do in Haight-Ashbury as well, and Lexington Avenue in Asheville. So the whole concept was that he was able to live with them and found out who they really are. I'm not going to bore you with the whole details of that, but part of the process was that it ain't as bad as we think, and it is, they're mostly vegetarian. And he actually took these pieces with him because he would go back and forth, and he became friends as a little child with the cannibals, and he'd go out there. And no, they don't go killing priests and missionaries to eat them. It's just a lifestyle. And that's how I got to eat the finger. I interviewed him, and we were going to a Chinese restaurant in Philadelphia, and there I was with Terry Gross of Fresh Air from NPR, and we were about to sit down, and I asked him as the final question before we all sat in our places and got our menus, and I said, by the way, Dushyant, I forgot to ask you, have you ever yourself eaten human flesh? And he proceeds to take out his wallet and say, many times, Dorado, would you like to try? And now I'm facing these two lovely ladies in front of me, and my whole macho comes up. I said, sure. It was like riding the roller coaster at 65 in Coney Island, which I did 2 years ago. Anyway, so that's the story on it, and it tastes like pork.
Wow.
And that's the last time I ate flesh of an animal.
Well, we can definitely tell you that human flesh isn't vegan.
Okay, so we had to play that for you because we've spoken about veganism in a lot of places. We've been on a couple of radio shows at this point, and I have to say that never has cannibalism come up.
Nope.
I ain't too interested in eating human flesh either.
No, it's just not a good idea, generally.
I thought it was really funny, though.
I know.
So I need to go back and ask him about it. Brado was a really charming host. He was a very nice guy. And,
he was. I had a good time doing the radio show.
It was a lot of fun to do the radio show. The radio show began with several moments of kind of reflective centering.
Yes, meditation.
Meditation.
It was actually quite helpful.
It really was. Because, going on live radio is always a little bit of a challenge. Mm-hmm. Always a little
nerve-wracking.
Yeah, it can be a little nerve-wracking to go on live radio.
Yeah, because we're not live, ever.
No, we do the radio quite a lot, but we never, we can always edit things out. Mm-hmm. And if I fuck something up, I can just go back and cut it out and,
Yep.
That's why all this fancy schmancy technology is very good. So anyway, yeah. So apparently human flesh tastes of pork, not of chicken. I
wonder if that's what hufu tastes like.
Who knows what hufu tastes like?
Yes, I don't want to find out.
Yeah. So if that didn't turn your stomach, we have only a very quick, keeping with our poultry theme, we have a very quick, if you're not vegan yet segment, and that very quick segment is just to remind you that egg production relies upon the systematic destruction of male chicks. That male chicks are often suffocated or simply thrown away into dumpsters and discarded, and that is a routine part of the process in order to produce eggs. And you can't have eggs without the death of male chicks. That's all there is to it. So there is death in every egg.
Yeah, and they do that because obviously male chicks cannot lay eggs, and they're not bred for meat production, so they have no use whatsoever. So they're just discarded as soon as they're born, and then they're sexed.
And that discarding includes death. I mean, it isn't just like they're put to some nice little chicken place somewhere.
No, sometimes they grind them up.
Mm-hmm. Grind them up and feed them as fertilizer, or feed them back as part of the raw protein content in feed.
Mm-hmm.
So that's very lovely. I don't know. Suko has some very compelling art that shows this process, and
I'm sure really good.
You can find videos of it on the web for sure. As a final bit here, we have some audio from Kat. in the UK.
Yeah.
And it confused the hell out of us because we're like stupid.
Yeah.
We're a little slow. I don't know. We're Americans. What can I do? It's the way Americans are. We're a little slow.
But we do have a lot of listeners from the UK and from Ireland. So.
And we actually have a lot of international listeners, and we love you all.
Yes, we do.
We want to come to your countries and live there.
Yeah, we were just talking about it yesterday. We want to live in the UK now. That's like our new place we want to live.
I think so.
I think I want to go live outside of London somewhere. I'd
be into that. But, yeah, I don't know. I don't think anybody needs us, over there.
That's a problem.
Yeah, I know. Well, anyway. So we had some audio from Kat. One other thing I want to talk about very quickly is it reminds me of Americans being dumb. I heard today on the radio that I heard the following quote: "Wow, Brazil sure is a big country."
Yeah, that's right.
Anyone take a wild guess as to who said that? Mm-hmm.
Any recent visitors to South America that we know about this week?
Any recent visitors to South America? Yes. One of them named George Bush.
Yeah.
Looked at a map of Brazil and, according to an eyewitness, said, "Wow, Brazil is a big country." Oh my God. I can't believe that this man is in power.
Mm-hmm.
I am constantly perplexed by the fact that there are people out there who actually vote for him.
Yeah. Well.
I can't wrap my head around it. I can't understand it. I almost understand me eating more.
Almost.
I think I do understand eating
definitely.
more. And I don't know. But anyway, so enough on the political stuff. Let's play Kat's audio. And we had to look up what the fuck was being said in this audio. I need a translation.
Yeah.
But we'll play it anyway. Here it is.
I tell you what's worse than being a vegetarian, being a Mekon.
So there you go.
I don't know.
Well, I looked it up on the web. I looked up Mekong on the web. Mekong, not Mekong. That is in...
That's the river delta, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I looked up Mekong on Google, because Google is your friend. And, of course, now Google, I'm going to look at it, and of course now it doesn't work.
Yes. It's not your friend at the moment.
The internets are not my friend at the moment. Motherfucker. Well, anyway, what did it mean? Someone with a high forehead.
Someone, bald or with a really high forehead.
Yeah, that was in dictionary playground slang. Now, is that right?
That's what we're guessing.
So someone tell me if that's right or not. But
yeah.
It's very funny.
Yeah, it was very funny, if that's what it means.
If you have clips like that and you want to send them to us, we would love to have them.
Yeah, apparently Kat was finding a lot of actually vegan-friendly things on British TV lately.
Yeah, there's a show that Kat keeps going on about on the forums that she loves.
I know, and I wish we could find it. I wish we could see it.
No, I can't get it,
Until it hits BBC America, we're kind of at a loss.
We don't have cable either.
Well, I mean, most people.
Oh, right. So
it's normal people, yes.
Yeah. Nevertheless, we would love your audio if you send it to us. You can send me up to 50 megabytes in email at Torres, Torres, at bobtorres.org. So 50 megabytes, you can send to me there. If you have music or audio clips or anything like that you want to send along for the show, we'd love to have it. We'll take it. And we'll, in pretty much any language, provided you give us a translation.
Yeah, true.
So, we're open, man. We're international here. We're not afraid.
Right. Or if you do it in Spanish, then we can translate it ourselves.
That's true. Spanish is fine, but I sincerely doubt you'll find much about veganism in Spanish.
Well, I mean, they have...
in the media?
In the media?
I mean, there are these two really good Spanish vegan websites.
Yeah. There are people on our forums from Spain.
Yeah, there's the activist... I can't remember the names of the sites now off the top of my head. We can link them.
Yeah.
Those are very good sites that have Spanish and English halves, right?
Yeah, but I mean, they actually produce groups like Farm Sanctuary and Compassion Over Killing actually produce brochures in Spanish.
Ah, good point. Mm-hmm. Very cool.
There you go.
All right, well, vegan freakies, there you go, man. It's another week down. Sorry, we're a little heavy this week.
Yeah, I don't know what's up.
Talking to Karen Davis was, I don't know, it was just really hard.
I mean, but I would want to discourage people from listening next week.
Oh no, please listen. It's an amazing interview. Karen, the scope of her knowledge is impressive. She knows so much about all the issues. She knows so much about the history of various kinds of birds in our culture, mm-hmm. and she goes into a lot of that history on the show, and it's very powerful, very moving audio. and we hope you'll listen in.
Yeah, and she has a lot of really good points of view that I don't think get said enough. So I think you have to listen. It's really important.
Absolutely. And she also talks about how to avoid activist burnout on the show. Mm-hmm. And she has what I think is some really compelling advice for how to avoid burnout.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's it for this week. Next week we will be back, but we will have the Karen Davis interview. It's pretty much 75 minutes of Karen Davis and us interviewing her. And then after that, we'll be back again with the regular podcast, post-Thanksgiving. Maybe we'll get the Vulgar Vegan on.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll be glad.
Around. He loves to get on. And the only problem with having him on is that he's so vulgar.
Yeah, we got to cut half of it out.
Yeah, he... some of you may appreciate it, some of you may not. He is quite vulgar, and he also, rumor has a book coming out some point soon. So maybe we can get him on here to talk about his book at some point.
Yeah, good point.
So I don't know. So we're sorry we're a little heavy this week, but sometimes that's the way it is,
Yeah, there are so many serious sides to veganism that it's just important to get them out once in a while.
The many faces of veganism.
Yes.
The serious face, the jolly face.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And you know what? I said at the beginning of the show that this wasn't going to be an hour and a half long, but I bet you it's going to be an hour and a half long.
Yeah, it's getting up there. And please don't think it's our normal length anymore, because it's like, holy hell.
We just had a lot to talk about, and we got a lot of cool emails and voicemails, so we really appreciate it. Keep them coming.
We love the email. We love the voicemail. We love to hear from you. Get in touch with us. Also, I've been thinking lately that we should try to get people to vote for us at Podcast Alley.
Okay, yeah.
Wouldn't it be cool if we could get into like the top 10 or 20 at Podcast Alley?
Sure.
Then we could get people who may not be vegans or vegetarians thinking about our podcast and listening to it, perhaps.
Yeah.
And we could expose all kinds of other non-vegan, non-vegetarian people to these ideas.
That could be the case, or we could get a lot of shit from them, too.
We wouldn't get any shit. What kind of shit would we get?
People send nasty emails and stuff.
Who sent it? No one sent us a nasty email
Not yet.
We've been doing this is our 16th podcast, and no one sent us a nasty email yet. So there you go. And we haven't had any hecklers on the forums yet.
Nope.
So everything's been
Knock
positive.
on wood.
I think most people, there are your occasional weirdos and freaks out there who want to just bother people for shits and giggles, but I think more often than not, they're rare.
I hope so.
I think so. I mean, I don't know. Right, so thank you so much for listening. We really appreciate it. Sorry to be so heavy, and sorry about the technical difficulty earlier with the dog.
Right.
And we'll see you again next week.
Thanks again for listening.
And come see us on the forum.
Yep.
Bye.
And I don't eat roast beef or fish, and pork and pig is not my dish. Go ahead and let your chickens free. Chicken orders for Purdue wants to keep those chickens to you. I don't take orders from Colonel Sanders to you. And I don't want to eat no hands, not even every now and then. I just want to let all the little chickens be. We'll swing to the east and swing to the west, swinging the chicken that you love best, coming down to the chicken's walk with me. I'm wishing Daffy lots of locals, Elmer Fudd's a hunting duck, and dreaming about a little fricassee. And Bugs Bunny's a friend of mine, eating him feel like Frankenstein, eating flesh is pretty foul to me. Cooking chickens don't seem right, morning, noon, or late at night, ain't no chicken ever done no harm to me. So on Thanksgiving or Christmas Eve, give those turkeys ever breed, ain't no turkey got to die for me.